You see a little indicator up there. We're on, but nobody's on yet. It takes a minute or two when people kind of wander in. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the live stream. Um, Kind of haven't had one in 2 weeks. It's been kind of busy. The season's kind of coming to an end here. So I looked at who went to the wild card, and I saw Amanda went and did pretty well considering how well our Illini co-anglers went, and she agreed to come on. So let's welcome her on. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
How you doing? All right. Amanda has quite a distinguished record here. She's got 2 wins, 9 top tens. That speaks for consistency, and 74 tournaments, and almost won $10,000. And she was number 5 in the AOY for co-angler this year. So that's quite an awesome record.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So why don't you give a little history? How'd you get into fishing? It's a little bit unique for ladies to be into fishing.
My dad started taking me fishing when I was about 3 years old. And from that moment on, I just always fished. But about 11 years ago, he said, why don't you start fishing the BFLs with me? And I was like, well, okay, thinking he was just joking, but he was serious. So we've been fishing him for 11 years. And Dad's actually been fishing him for 27 since 1998.
Yeah. When I look at his thing, it's a whole scroll bar or two down to look at his record.
Yeah, he's made like $221,183 in his career, just for BFLs. So.
Wow. I have never drawn him, but I've talked with him through people. Have you ever drawn him?
I don't think I can. I don't know how that all works. So.
Well, they say it's a random draw, but
yeah,
if you link with them, I think they try and not link you, draw you with your link.
Yeah. Somebody said something about they used your social security numbers, but I had somebody who had the number, like won a number up on mine or something. So.
Yeah. So you've been at it a long time, huh?
I'm trying. I like doing it. I like the
awesome. Yeah, don't we all? I kind of miss it. It's only been a few weeks without a tournament, and I've been going all year, and it's kind of like, oh, I mean, it's fun to kick back and kind of pleasure fish, and I make the videos kind of pleasure fishing too, but it's a totally different mindset of with your pleasure fishing or you're in competition,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something about the competition for me. I like to look at somebody and say you got beat by a girl.
Hey, that'll teach them. They better go practice a little harder, huh?
I just like to have fun. It took a while for that though, because when I first started fishing, the guys wouldn't talk to me. I mean, it was hard, and I asked my dad. I was like, Dad, like, what do I got to do? And he said, once you win a couple tournaments and they see that, and they'll respect you. And from that moment on, like they became my family.
So, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you say you started about 11 years ago?
With the BFLs, I started fishing 11 years ago, but like we fished our little local tournaments, like the rivers and stuff like that, but as far as major league fishing, that was 11 years ago.
Yeah. Speaking of rivers, I happen to notice both your wins on the Ohio River out of Paducah here. So definitely you've got that game figured out here. What are your deep, dark secrets there?
I mean, if you know my dad, I do is what my daddy does. But
I hear he's a jig, and a jig.
Yep. Yep. That's our bait, So I mean, of course, I use other things. I mean, mainly like the jig, Carolina rig, spinner baiting. But I mean, you got to throw what you're confident in, and I know jigs catch pigs, so I usually throw it year round.
Yeah. Is your number one bait? Yeah.
Yes, my number one bait for sure.
Nice. I think I heard your dad owns a jig or a bait company. Who's your bait company that I see on there?
Well, he bought the mold for the custom cast jigs, which is the jig that pretty much won him all of his money. So yeah, that's our main jig. And then Pat Odell also makes and sells jigs, so we buy from him as well.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. He talked about that
Hmm.
when I saw you up there practicing up on the regional there. I forget, how'd you do in the regional?
I blanked both days. It was terrible.
Me too. Me too.
Hmm.
It was tough. I mean, it was so hot for that time of year, and there's just so much pressure in that little area, and yeah, boy, it's just tough.
Well, my day one partner, he had 16 pounds, and he was just throwing lures that I had never even seen before. One called Big Poop. It
A
literally,
poop bait, yeah,
the big poop it like
plastic,
crawdad.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I had one it was a ball, and it had, I don't even know, spikes everywhere on it, and he was throwing it. But I mean, I just didn't have anything like that.
Oh yeah, the tumbleweeds. That's been the rage this year.
Hmm.
Those, well,
Some
I
tip,
call them a tumbleweed, and yeah, just yeah.
yep.
Yeah, you know what? I actually started catching a couple at the end of the year. I had some in my box, but I never got to them. My guy was going so fast. I couldn't fish a slow bait both days. My guy was just doing.
Yep, it makes it hard.
Yeah,
And my day two partner took me to a big grass mat with some lily pads, and I was throwing a frog out there, and they were just killing it, but they weren't committing to it. And so I
right.
blamed days and said, I'm just going to go to the wild card.
But yeah, yeah. So yeah, you had a great year. You ended up in fifth place here. How about a quick recap of the year here? How'd you get there? I mean, that's awesome.
I mean, I just know that if you can catch at least one fish in every tournament, you're going to stay up there, you know. And if I can catch one, I can catch two, and then from two, I want to have three. But you know, it's just always, I'm just so competitive. I never sit down. I never stop. So I mean, throwing my jig, my Carolina rig. I mean, those were my two favorites. And so yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chumbler, that's how he won the regional. He was throwing a Carolina rig and a spinner bait. And, I up there, I had a little spinner bait I had during practice, and I got a few bites early, but not later in the day. But I think him and some others were throwing a bigger spinner bait.
Mm-hmm. I didn't. I mean, I never had a bite on a spinner bait, and I mean, Sweatland, I think he caught him on the chatter bait, but I threw it, and I just went to. I was in a different area too, you know, but
Yeah,
never had
yeah,
any luck. But you have to throw your confident bait, and my confidence is.
yep,
And on the first day of practice, I had keepers, so that was just where my head was, and just didn't work
yep,
out for
yep, yeah. Me too. I had a couple of keepers on a little finesse jig practicing with Pat, and just could do nothing during the tournament.
me. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see here. So yeah, that first Ren tournament here, about everybody blanked. Did you get one in that tournament?
I had a fish in every tournament.
Ah,
I
yep,
didn't
yep,
I didn't blank until I went to regionals. So
yeah, yeah. That's a good year as a co-angler in the Illini Stingy division.
it's always tough in Illini, but then you think, you know, we fight so hard all year long, and it's a very hard competition because our lakes aren't that plentiful. And so when you go to regionals, you know, you're up for that challenge because usually the fish are more plentiful. But in this case, Mississippi was terrible, and I could have probably done a lot better at the wild card. But for me, it was just my day two that helped kept me back. So I was
Yeah,
in I was in 29th place on day one, and on day two, I had no opportunity to catch a fish. So
yeah, yeah. We'll get to that. Let's talk about that region a little bit more. Um, Trey McKinney said that a few times on some of his interviews. He's like, I grew up fishing tough lakes and these lakes right here. So I had to figure out how to catch them behind people. And
yep.
he's a well-known jig guy. And I heard him talk about you got to think like a fish and you got to think about like an angler. Where is the most gnarly place someone will not throw? That's where I'm going to throw.
I
How
actually
do you see
fished.
that?
I actually fished with Trey at the super tournament. We made it to day three, and
Oh,
he's in
which one?
Shelbyville.
Oh, okay.
So I actually watched him catch a 5-pounder on a frog on Lake Shelbyville, which is weird.
Really?
Yeah, because I
Wow.
told him, I said, when they interview you and they ask you what you caught it on, you can tell them a frog. Nobody's going to believe you, but you're telling the truth. And we
Wow, he just back in some shallows. I know I fished with Levi Cole one year, and we saw him in a couple areas, and he was in 6 to 8 inches of water in like July in Ren.
Yeah. Yep.
So okay, so you get through, you're through the regional. You're going, oh man, I'm thinking the same thing. I had a bad experience. I went to one wild card, I think it was 22, where they had that boat crash and everything. There's like 250 boats. It was a super circus of not the most experienced or polite or better anglers. And I'm like, I'm not doing that again. And then I saw the weather for the weekend. And then when I saw there was only like 95 boats or something, I'm like, oh man, I should have gone at least to get the video. I really kicked myself in the butt for not going. But I know one day I was going to get a scoper, and I think, a bad scoper down there, and that's kind of what happened to you. So let's talk about hey, your day one, you get down there. Did you get any practice in?
Are you talking about the regionals?
No, down at the wild card on Pickwick.
Yeah, I actually stayed with a guy named John Morales, and he introduced me to Chris Deitz, and so he took me out. I got down there on Wednesday, and I pre-fished Wednesday and Thursday with him. I'd never fished Pickwick before, and I had a blast. Like, I learned so much, from them. So that was a good time, and so I went out confident on day one, and I had 2 for 4.9, I think, but I wish they would have been a little bigger.
Yeah.
But
well, you had 2. How'd you do in practice? What'd you find in practice?
I probably had. I mean, day 2 was a little tougher because my boater was, kind of just surfing around looking for himself places to fish for the tournament. So I didn't really fish as hard on day 2. Day 1, I had like 2 or 3 keepers, and I caught a pike, which was kind of weird, I guess, for there because I don't see that very much.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know they had them down there.
Pickle something. I don't know. Yeah.
So what, you catch them on a jig down there, or how were the other guys catching them?
I mean, I caught mine on a jig. I had to take the jig and kind of pop it and get it some action because the fish were kind of suspended. They were down at the bottom, and the water temperature was only like 50 degrees. So I think that snow that came in might have had a role in it, and I think it's turning over and it's not done yet. And so the fish are just really they were just really confused. But so
they got snow down there?
Well, we had snow here, they had snow there, and if you think you got Mississippi and Alabama, and but the water just draining down and then going through all those locks and stuff, and it was just the water got so cold so fast. Maybe I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I was just
yeah, 50. That's kind of a break point from being really lethargic, right? 55, they're still active and feeding up for the fall, and then usually the turnovers right in that range, and then below 50, I find it really tough.
Right. Yeah, it was not easy going out there. I mean, we were kind of found that they were on the bluffs, on the points, and but you never know as a coangler where the boater's going to take you, And my day 1 boater, he was phenomenal. Jim Miller, he was so cool, and he was a retired war vet, and he had a wrapped red, white, and blue American flag boat and power poles. And I mean, he's like, let's just go fish, let's kind of work as a team, but not as a team because we're not fishing or competing against each other, but let's go find, we'll have a good time.
That's awesome. What division is he from? Indiana. Hoosier?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, his truck broke down on the way down there, had to get a new truck, bring it down, stayed with his son. And I mean, I don't know. I told him, like, you got beat by a girl. But we had a ball, and so, but then that night I called my second day boater, and he had blew his lower unit. And so I actually had to get partnered up with somebody else. And it just didn't turn out so good for me on day 2. So.
Wow. Well, you're lucky to get someone else. I know at the regional on Dale Hollow on day 2, I didn't hear from my boater till like 9 o'clock. It was already a scope fest the first day, and I caught a 4-pounder, but it was a smallie, but it was in that slot they had at Dale Hollow. I had to take a picture and throw it back.
stinks so
And I
bad.
did the same thing on day 2, but he blew his lower unit, and the tournament director was like, hey, hey, I hate to say this, but you got a co-angler. Can you just go idle? Just use your trolling motor, and you can even come in early just to take him out. And he did, and he had his live scope, and it was my first experience with live scope. He was just sitting there. He wasn't even fishing. He was just telling me what to do. And he was really cool about it. I mean, that's really cool. I mean, so
Yeah.
a co-angler must have gone home or something for you. Did you get doubled up on day 2?
No, I didn't. No, they didn't have any doubles. So, I mean, I don't know. And unless they heard who the person was, because, like he was a good fisherman, and I'm not meaning any harm on that part, but you got to have good sportsmanship whenever you fish. You can't just back in somebody and completely have your cheekbones planted on that forward facing sonar. I mean, it was it was so bad. I didn't have a seat to sit down on, and we had 20-30 mile per hour winds, and I had to try to keep my balance because I was out in the middle of the lake or the river, and so my entire body hurts so bad right now.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
It was probably
Wait,
the first
wait
time.
till you get to be 60 something.
So yeah,
Oh yeah,
it was pretty tough, but I was not a happy camper, and I've never been unsportsmanlike, but
it's
yeah,
hard. I try and keep a good attitude, but it's just so hard. And I've had some of those guys, and you trying to have a good positive mental attitude. You say, I got to make the best of this. It's just my turn, and my turn is more often than it used to be. But when they get to the point where as the day goes on, do you notice this? They fish faster and faster. It's to the point by the time you get your pole up and take one cast, they take 2 casts, or they're saying the fish aren't here, we're going again. And
it wasn't really like that. It was more like
okay,
he was out there completely scoping and
in the
moving
abyss looking for
and doing this
suspended fish.
number. And so if
Yeah,
I couldn't reach the bank, and if I did, then he would go left, and I wouldn't even be able to finish my cast. I was absolutely
yeah.
handicapped and blocked from being able to even have an opportunity to catch a fish. I didn't have the depth finder, wasn't like I didn't even know what the feet was that I was fishing. And so
You
it
didn't
just
have a console unit that you could tune up or anything?
he had the feet like blocked out, or I mean it was just dot 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 dot, and he didn't say one word to me really during the tournament. And so like I just
Wow.
by 10 o'clock
Wow.
I just limit, so he would have met the 3 hours, but he wouldn't have upgraded like he did, because he completely like the whole time scoped. And I'm not trying to downgrade scoping, but like for me, I don't make that much money, and I don't have a lot, so for me to take that time off to go and to qualify to do something like this, I paid to get there too. And so I lost a lot of money by going, and I just
Yep.
feel like, you can go out there, but he never gave me an opportunity to go catch a fish. And I was in 29th place. They paid 21. So if I could have caught one fish, because I only dropped it 41st.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it just frustrated me, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a girl. No, I'm joking.
No, we've had the same experience. Yeah. Tim saying he was having the same issue too, a scoper both days. And a scoper used to mean 3 years ago or so, if you go to like Brio Highland Reservoir, you're out in the middle of nowhere looking at suspended fish. Today they're scoping in 3 feet of water. They're out on flat scoping logs. I had a guy the other year that had 2 forward-facing units on his front bow, one this way and one in the perspective mode, and he could see the cover and the fish.
I mean,
Yeah.
there'd be a way to fix it, though. I mean, obviously they've came out with a division, the Illini Team Trail. They've got a non-forward sonar division that's going to be starting next year, so I think that's going to be great. And maybe.
Hey, you know what? It's already started. They have their winter series down in Lake of Egypt, and they had their first tournament last weekend. No forward-facing sonar.
I don't fish in the wintertime. I tell
Me
everybody,
neither.
I'm too young to wear diapers. I'd have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm not an ice fisherman. My brother-in-law does it, trying to talk me into it. I'm like, nah.
But there's a lot of things about BFL that like I really liked in the beginning was like, we had Walmart as a sponsor, and my dad and I would take the boat to Walmart and we would work with little kids. We'd give them stickers. We would show them how to pitch and cast. Well, they lost Walmart as a sponsor, so we don't do that anymore. I've been to the high school in Charleston and talked to the kids and the students. Dawson Hendricks, sorry, got choked up. Dawson Hendricks, he was in high school and he comes in here and gets his haircut. And I'm like, you only have to be 16 to fish the BFLs. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So his first year, he went out as a coangler. He is now fishing from McHenry College and he fishes as a boater for the BFLs, but I like going to the schools. I've also went with Archie Esslinger. We went to Illini, I think, to the high school there and talked to him. A lot of times they just want to know how it is to be a female fisherman. I did go talk to Kathy Finnell 2 years ago about.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Sat down with her.
Considering the news about her is so sad to hear. I mean, I don't know. I never knew her, but when they were talking about all her accolades, I read about it. It seems pretty amazing.
Well, I called her up and asked her if I could come sit down and talk to her because I wanted to talk to her about how I feel about my family. Because mom and dad, they started the Illini team trail years ago. And so a lot of the fishermen that I fish with are my family. And some of them aren't even fishing anymore, all because of it, And I'm like, we got to come up with some way that we can all maybe figure something out to where we can go out and we can go fish. Because at the end of the day, they're not fishing. They're playing video games. And I mean, that's a whole new story. But she took about 3 pages of notes, talked to me for about 45 minutes, and I went home. I drove all the way to Kentucky. But,
wow. And didn't even get to fish. Did you get to fish?
No. I took my mom with me. She stayed out in the car while I went inside. But, she just wanted to know what it was like to fish as a woman, and that's fine. But that's not why I was there. So Kim and I went actually to the Charleston High School and talked just because we were females and they have a couple girls that were fishing.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Kim and I went to the Bassmaster Open and the FLW Tour over at the Harris Chain. One of our best friends lives over there, so we fished that and have met like Larry Nixon and Jimmy Houston. And I mean,
oh my gosh, when was that?
I want to say it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Kim and I just our friend Melissa lives over there, and so we just drive over and stay, and we'll hop in those open tournaments if we can and go stay with her for the week.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You should be on that Bassmaster tour with Christine Fisher if you follow her.
Oh, I've seen her. Yeah. I wish I was a little bit better, but I need more practice with my dad, I guess.
Yeah. And a sponsor. Sponsors help with a lot of things.
Well, I don't know about that. I've had sponsors. They don't really do a lot, but he's my number one sponsor.
Yeah. All right. Yande's asking if the new rules were in effect for the wild card. I'm assuming he's meaning the 3-hour scoping rule, and I think the answer is no.
No, they won't come into effect until 2026. But you know what? Anybody that qualified for the All-American is going to have to abide by the 3-hour rule when they go next year.
Oh, for the All-American, it is going to be, because at one time they thought, they're like, no, that was 1 in 25, so it's 25 rules, but okay.
2026 start, so it'll all start next year. But I mean, at least that's what I've been told, so.
Yeah, they have the rules on the website, and we'll all get our little packet soon for next year. In fact, signing up for tournaments is coming soon.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Yeah, you have every right to feel that way. I think, he's co-angler too. He's been behind the live scopers. He had a rough day on Kentucky Lake on the Super because of that too.
And I want to go back to because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, they were just talking anti-scoping and stuff, because I feel like there's a division for that, but why can't they ever create a big enough division for the ones that don't want to have it? And it's not fair. I mean, it sucks to sit back there behind that boat and to sit there and watch them with their faces stuck in it. And I don't think the person that I fish with knows what it's like to be a co-angler. And I feel like every boater should have that experience, because it was so hard. And I've never wanted to just give up. but I wanted to sit down in my chair at 10 o'clock because I wanted to quit and I wanted to give up. And I, in 10 years or 11 years, have never felt that way.
Yeah.
I didn't have a
Well, you
say.
just feel, you feel it's like your chances of catching a fish are like 0.01% here. What can you do? Just fan cast out in the middle of the abyss, right?
Yeah, but there was a lot more to it, you know, because he's a younger kid. But then I just think that, you know, you need to learn mannerisms and you need to have good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
I caught fish, but he wouldn't net mine. But I had to net his catfish.
What?
His fish, you know, and I didn't have a seat to sit on. And we had 20, 30 mile per hour winds with huge waves. And we're out in the middle. And I mean, my old body could not move like that no more.
Right. Right.
But, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't like to complain. I'm a very good sport when I'm in that back of that boat. I netted every one of his fish. I helped him put his fish in the bag to weigh in and everything. But if you can't treat me the way I treat you or the way you want to be treated, then I mean, I'm done, you know. And so I packed up my stuff out of that boat and I just walked to my car about a half a mile and I left. And I felt bad because he's a young kid and he needed to know what he did wrong, but I don't know. Like, I don't know.
You know what? If he doesn't know, you explain it to him and ain't gonna fix it. It's because he's not. I mean, he can't be clueless at that point. He's just so self-involved.
I honestly believe that, you know, but there's a reason why I don't want to be a boater. I don't feel safe. I don't want to, for the safety of somebody else, especially after this last, you know, the wreck that happened with the boat. I mean, it kind of put a little bit more of a feeling in me. Like when I was out there on the water, I was constantly scanning because you don't know when they're not paying attention. But I would never be able to be a boater just because of that, you know, like the safety.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, you know, I thought about that. And of course, my wife says, you see another boat accident. Are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, I'm always keeping an eye on it, you know, and it's few and far between. It's probably safer than driving down I-57, where, you know, which I do all the time. But you never know. And me as a co-angler, I mean, I boat too. 95% of boaters are, you know, really good drivers, really safe and everything. And then you get into with the guy who's like doing stuff, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Have you had that boater where he's gonna kill us? This is gonna be the guy. In 11 years, you've had a few of those, right?
I've never been scared in a boat ever. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I always keep my eyes peeled. Sometimes I feel like I'm being a little overprotective because I'll be like, hey, and I'll point my finger, you know, and I feel like they know, but I don't know that they know. So I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, I have kids and I have a family. So. Yeah. Don't see how even the older fishermen feel it is right to not give their boater the same water to fish. I'm trying to understand that. You mean boater give co-angler water to fish? I think that's what he's getting at, yeah. The older fishermen feel it's right to not give their boater the same water to fish. Can you explain that a little bit better, Jonathan?
Yeah. Oh, here he's got some more here.
One person best as a boater.
Yeah, you know, we all have some interesting boaters we've been with. That's what I'm getting out of this one.
Fish behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this kid was really young. So, I mean, he was absolutely 100% playing a video game. I mean, I promise you his face was almost planted on his life scope.
8 straight hours. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I can't imagine how they're going to look when they get older and they're in a nursing home. They're all going to be hunched over with their heads hanging down because that's how they're
Yep. I noticed that, you know, I mean, I've got scope on my boat and I'm using it. And some days I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm just going fishing, you know?
Right.
Just because I You sit there bent over but you turn it on and before you know it, you've been doing it for like an hour or two and you're like, oh my God, it's just it just sucks you in so bad,
I guess my question would have been, I wanted to be like, buddy, would you be able to have caught those fish without that live scope? Because I bet not. I
Yeah.
mean, because that's the end of the day, because I spent all day with no live scope trying to figure out how to fish behind him. I threw a jig, a Carolina rig, a crankbait, swim bait, and anytime I made a cast, I had to reel it in really fast because I was done and gone. Like I couldn't keep up because they were, swimming around. But at the end of the day, obviously you have to be good to be able to catch him like that. And I'm not downing him for not being a good fisherman because he obviously can go figure it out on the TV screen. But that's not how it should have been. It wasn't fair. So.
Well, we've had an uphill battle here for a bad 2 to 3 years, but hey, it's changing next year. We get the 3-hour rule here. Going to be interesting how that pans out. I saw that first came out, and I thought for sure they're going to have that timing device that I saw they're going to have for the pro circuit. So it, you hit a button, it puts power on for 3 hours, and you're done. And they're like, oh no, not for BFLs. Co-anglers are going to have to monitor like they did before, and they sent out a further clarification just last week. I was reading, and it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. What are you going to do? Oh, the boater should call it out. The boater should run a timer. I thought the most interesting thing was, I've heard about this, but I haven't seen it. I want to ask if anybody's seen it, including you, Amanda, is they said, oh, and if a boater is scoping and a co-angler is going to scope, they got to scope the same 3 hours. If the boater doesn't scope the whole time, then the co-angler can only scope the last 3 hours of the tournament. I've heard about co-anglers bringing scopes, but I've never seen one. Have you?
I've heard that the ice fishing scope thing, you can use that, but I mean, I don't even know how that would even work. But because they're going to go to the left and right and the left and the right, how are you? How are you not seeing the same fish? I don't know. I don't see. I did see something, I feel like, on Facebook that said that they were going to have a time, and they were also going to have a video device in the back so that they could record, but don't quote me on that. But you have to also start at the same time with it if you're fishing a 2-day tournament at the same time each day.
Oh, I didn't read that, but maybe I missed it.
Yeah.
And the live video kind of proctor wasn't for the BFLs because they're not going to supply video cameras in all the boats with feeds. That was for their pro circuit.
Was it? Okay.
It used to be the invitationals. Now it's their pro circuit.
That's okay. I just seen Phoenix and I did see pro. So you're right.
Yeah. Well, you're paying $5,000 a tournament. Okay, they can put in a $200 GoPro, right?
I know that Brendan has the lock boxes for the ITT. I mean, he posted pictures.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook too, and I saw, he polled people, and everyone said no live scope for the summer series. Mm-hmm. And then he said, well, the winter series, what do you guys think? And it was overwhelmingly no. I thought for sure for the winter and suspended fish, people would be picking scope. Nope.
Yeah.
Well, not in this area either. It's not like we got really deep lakes, but still, Lake of Egypt, there's a lot of suspended fish out there.
I want to go back to the whole thing of the whole scoping. I want everybody to make sure they understand. The reason why I have a problem with it is because my father has been my best teacher, my best friend, and we fished together for 11 or 10 years until live scope. And this year, I try not to get emotional about this. He did not fish with me because of live scope. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go see how well I do without my dad. And it sucks. It sucks eating alone and being in a hotel alone and everything else, So when I talk about the forward-facing sonar, I'm angry because it took my family away from me.
Passionate. You're passionate, not angry.
No, I get angry about it because people get hateful towards it, and it's like they don't understand. I'm not mad because of the whole deal. I'm mad and upset because I miss fishing with my dad.
Yeah, I hear you.
So.
Well, do you think you're going to do BFLs next year with the 3-hour rule? You think you'll just kind of maybe try and bounce over to ITTs, or?
I mean, I think my husband and I are wanting to try the ITTs for sure. I mean, obviously my dad probably is going to fish with my mom, but and as far as the BFLs, he hasn't asked me yet. But he is doing the Toyotas. I know for sure. I don't know. We'll see if he asks. That's what he has
He's
to
going
do.
to fish the Toyota Plains.
Yeah. The Central Division, maybe.
Oh, Central is in Tennessee. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a better one. Well, but, I mean, Plains is Lake of Ozarks, Kentucky Lake, and then Lake Dardanelle this year. I think the Centrals were going to be Gunnersville, something else in Alabama, and maybe Pickwick this year.
Well, in Gunnersville, his best friend lives there, so he gets to fish it a lot. I'm super jealous.
Yeah, I had my first trip down to. We're talking about it in the green room here this year in February, and I lost my third fish, and I had like 2 3-pounders. I come in and I see already on the board coanglers, 3 fish, 15-10, 15-8, 15-6, 15-1, and I'm like, you got to be kidding! Coanglers catching limits of 5-pounders. I love this place.
Yeah, it's a great fishery. I mean, you can come to Illinois and not catch any and just drive over to Alabama and you're going to catch fish, that's for sure.
Yeah. So so you're up in the air about what you're going to do for next year, huh?
Yeah, when I left the wild card, I said I was done. I was so mad, but that's just me having a moment probably. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop fishing.
No, I mean, when I was out at Dale Hollow, that's how I felt too. I'm like, all this time, money, and extra effort, and 8-hour drive, and I'm in 100 feet of water in the abyss.
Yeah, I mean, it's just our family thing. Like I've always just fished with my dad and my mom, and my mom, she doesn't fish as much anymore. She has neuropathy, so she don't get to go out and do it as much. But we like to fun fish with her.
Right. Yeah. My wife has some nerve issues too, so it's kind of like tool around, and it's more like a recreational thing. Take the dog, enjoy the sun, right?
Yeah, and I know she hates it because that was her and dad's thing, and so yeah, it makes it hard, but yeah, my dad.
Well, hey, while we're here, I see you got a business sign in the back there. You might as well promote your business and take advantage of the plug here.
I don't know if I can get it up there. It's hair effects. I've been doing hair for like 16 years. Every 15, 20 minutes I'm cutting hair. 10 hours a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
You could probably set up shop at the BFLs and make some more money.
No, way of doing it. I've had people ask me to bring my hair clippers with me whenever I go, and I'm like, no, I'm done. When I go fishing, I'm fishing.
All right, that's the right attitude. So, so you're not sure what you're going to do next year, huh?
No, I'm not too sure, but I mean, if obviously if Dad asks if I want to fish, I'm going to want to fish. But it's really hard to spend all that money, hotels, gas, fishing, and all that, because back in the day, regionals and the regionals and the wild card, you didn't have to pay to fish. You earned that right, and now you have to pay. And then back then, it was like 300 fishermen. Now it's 80 people. We had 80 boaters at regionals, and we had 104 at the wild card. And I don't know.
Payouts aren't there either, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So now you pay. So, I mean, I paid for both tournaments. I paid for Airbnbs. I paid for my gas. I mean, it's just so much money. And so if they don't do something forward-facing sonar to make it fair for everybody, I don't care what the boaters say. I mean, they're going to lose co-anglers. And they say they don't need us. They need us.
Oh, yeah, they do.
My boater absolutely on day 2 needed me because I had to net every one of his fish while he was throwing a spinning rod. And he was catching ginormous catfish, and so I netted every single one of his fish. But I mean, I also could back, and I don't know. They can't not have a co-angler as much as they don't want us or say they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to see if this balance with the 3 hour rule is going to work. Because I mean, Illini was down to, it started out at 75 boats, and it was down to like 60 boats at the end of the year. I mean, that's just 50% of what it used to be, and it's obviously mainly because of scoping. It's gone crazy, and because a lot of the not just scoping, but the adoption of scoping by a lot of the younger anglers coming in, and that's the for a lot of them, not all of them. It's just the way they fish 24/7. They don't like to, or don't know, or whatever, do better with the scope here. And a lot of the older guys are just tuning out, or getting too old for it, or just getting sick of the scope here. And it's hit both sides. They've seen a big turnover, from both sides of the equation there.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I get that into some point, but the other thing is that it's a lot of money for one. For two, how about these guys that have been out there for years and years and busted their butts to go out there and find where these fish are? And now you have them with the TV that shows them even more so where those spots were. And, so they earned all that to find them. And now that is just like, poof, gone.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad there. Obviously, while you're packing in a hurry and going on out to New York, sorry to hear about that, bro. Yep. We all got to face those days sooner or later. Well, we only have limited time here. We got to make the best of it.
Yeah. And that's why I told him, yes, I would go fishing with him, is because, the last 10 years I've had are memories that I'm never going to get back again. And I could tell you some stories.
Oh, yeah. Will ya?
I have like a snoring video online. He'd probably kill me for telling people that, and my husband came up and barked like a dog and scared the crap out of him. It's hilarious. And then my husband,
I'm lying too, huh?
My husband, he's been fishing too, so now it's the three of us, and so my husband started out as a coangler, and now he's a boater too. So.
Oh, nice. Is he fishing a Illini division? Was he a boater this year?
He didn't fish this year. He was on swing shift at work, and it was really hard. But now he's on day shift, so he'll be able to fish more. As far as the 3-hour scope, helping out with the coes, I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I mean, it's better than nothing. But I know that, like, on my second day of the tournament, my boater absolutely had 5 keepers in the first 3 hours. Would he have upgraded and caught as many big ones as what he did? No, because it took him all day. But, I mean, he did have 5 keepers in the first 3 hours. So, I mean, what do they do afterwards? Are they going to go out there and fish like we do? Or, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to try it out and see how it works.
Well, yeah, that's going to be interesting how people use that as a strategy. Are they going to fish without it in the mornings because it's more traditional, shallow kind of feeding windows, and use it in the afternoon? Are they going to try and use it in that afternoon, window? Mm-hmm. Are they going to go try and beat other guys because there's always kind of pelagic fish roaming? I think everyone's going to have to come up with their own little recipe there, and it's going to challenge a bunch of people. I imagine. Where else are someone who only wants to scope? Where are they going to go?
So everybody likes that morning bite too, though. And so if they're going to use it the first 3 hours of the day, I mean, the co-angler in the back, I mean, obviously on day 2 for me was terrible, and I was like completely left out. I mean, those first 3 hours are just as important to us as it is to them, and I get it. They get to pick and choose and everything, but I'm just saying those first 3 hours is going to suck for the co-anglers.
Yeah, next year the Illini regionals on Kentucky Lake. You see that, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, I caught one at Kentucky. But
I think you'd like to see it on the Ohio River out of Paducah here. That's where both your wins are. Maybe you ought to call up Mr. Evans here and rally for that, huh?
I do like fishing the river, but I don't know. It's a different ball game. And the first time I won it in 10 minutes.
Wow.
I was in a spot and I heard a splish splash and I just kind of turned around and I threw my jig out there and I caught one and then I caught one and then I four. And so I took my jig and I threw it up to my boater. I said, "Here, buddy, use this, throw over there and get you one." And he caught one and I never caught my fifth fish.
Uh,
Oops.
yeah.
But I did win, so it was okay. But he wasn't, and he did catch one, but he was not happy because, I caught four. But
Yeah, I find boaters aren't too happy when you outfish them from the back of the boat.
but and I think that it's a lot of things. Like after my day two partner had called me, I said, "Don't worry, buddy. Like I've been doing this for 11 years. I said, I've had the best teacher anybody could ever ask for. And I know what I'm doing." I said, "You won't know I'm in the back of the boat. I'm quiet. I keep to myself. I won't ask you to go back and get the lures." And I think then I could tell at the time when I was on the phone with him, he felt a little more comfortable, because I think at first sometimes they do think that we're just a girl, but I don't know. You can look up the stats, I guess, and it kind of helps a little bit, but they have to know and feel that, you kind of know what you're talking about, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine that's a different perspective. It could be anyone, but definitely someone would be more biased toward a woman. I can see that. Yeah.
The first question they asked was, "How do you pee?"
I got admit, I asked some guys about that too. Hey, what happens? Oh,
Yeah.
they got a
No, I
raincoat and
don't.
a device or a little
I don't have
towel.
the shiwi. I do not
Mhm.
have the shiwi. We have a coffee can, and when we go, we go. If not, I just hold it in the whole time, because I'm usually pretty. I concentrate too much and I hold it in too long, which is not healthy. But yeah, I just want to catch that fish. I don't stop.
Yeah, and you are focused.
Yeah, I get the competitiveness from my father. And not all boaters
Not
are.
all boaters are scopers, true. Yeah,
No,
but it's a
I
big
mean,
improvement. Yeah, I agree, Matt.
that goes back to my first day boater. I mean, he had a live scope, but he was all like, "Let's just go out and have a good time and catch some fish." And I mean, he used it just to kind of see if they were there or not. And then off we went. And I mean, we had a blast. And yeah, he had a live scope, but
Yeah, I've had that too. I mean, a lot of people, and me, I haven't had a lot of luck with the suspended fish and picking out onesie twosies on stumps here, but it's to look at the structure cover, kind of see it, get a better idea on where the cover, the structure is, or if, you can see some fish. And I've just got Humminbird Live 1, which is basically like having your beer goggles on compared to the state-of-the-art garments. But yeah, I mean, just the way I've seen some guys just surgically use it, it's just I think
yeah.
you ask anyone who's not in fishing, well, if you could have this live thing to see the fish in real time, like going after your lure or not, should that be legal? And everyone's like, no, of course not. That's cheating, right?
For me, I feel like scoping is kind of like drinking and driving. You forget about the person in the back of you just as much as you do the person in front of you. But
Yeah.
I mean, beer goggles is a good thing too, because I mean, I've never felt so. You'll be sitting there and your boat's going to the left, you're going to a bluff, you're going, I mean, everywhere, and you're forgetting completely where you're at because you're so into that game.
Yeah. Good suspect. Well,
bait for a Carolina rig.
I think he means when if the bass are suspended, it's got to be something more like a jerk bait. Or I've seen people fish a drop shot where they kind of tight line it at if you're out in 50 feet and the fish are at 20 or 25 feet. I think that's what he means, out in deeper water.
I mean, I still would throw a Carolina rig because I'm throwing in a 15-pound test, but I'm putting 10 to 12-pound leader on it, so it's gonna float up. I mean, no matter when the fish are suspended, you got to find something that is going to go out. I get what you're saying. It's just that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I threw a Carolina rig on the first day of the tournament, just to see if I could get him to bite on it because I was getting bit during practice or whatever. But yeah.
Were you getting bit with your weight on the bottom or as it went down?
So I was finding that you kind of had to like shake it a little bit to get the
Get it up, get it fly up the bottom some.
And then I would just stop it. But then when you stopped it, they just boom, and they just took it.
Yeah, when it's coming down like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even with the jig, they were getting it on the fall. So when I was behind the scoper on day 2, I was trying to figure out, like, I don't know what to throw to keep up with him. So I threw crankbait, the swim bait, the Carolina rig, did whatever I could, and everything was just too slow. So the only thing I could think of to do was to throw the jig, and hopefully it would bite it on the fall. I mean, I have no clue.
Well, yeah, I mean, like a wave of the jigs, if you like at the Ozarks here, if you pay attention to those guys and or how you're catching them, sometimes they want a heavy jig that just is got really fast and gets that reaction bite. Sometimes no, they want it slower. It's just the mood of the fish and what they're looking for, or like you're throwing a crankbait. You know, sometimes you can just crank it or a chatterbait and they come, and a lot of times you got to stop and go or yo-yo it or flick it or give it some kind of goofy reaction to get that reaction bite,
Yeah, I mean, and I ended up throwing and buying a couple peanut butter and jelly 1/2 ounce jigs when I was there because it was just a little bit heavier. Because my dad's is a 7/16, but we also throw a 5/8. It just depends on the area, where you're at.
Yeah.
And if you want a rage tail on the end to have a little bit more of a flow versus his chunk, which doesn't. It just has more of the flop. But
right,
have to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to let them tell you what they want.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 90% of boaters are all, just awesome, and 95 are cool, and another 4 okay. It's only a few percent that are just, well, that was my draw this time.
Yep, you get that luck of the draw sometimes, and sometimes it sucks. And but
well, yeah, and I guess it's kind of in Illinois we don't have a lot of deep stuff. I mean, Shelbyville, there's some 30, 40 foot areas, and I have had a couple guys go fish here, but not so often. But you get into these highland reservoirs like Table Rock and whatchamacallit out there in the
well, you get Dale Hollow.
Dale Hollow, yeah, just crazy, 120 feet. It's just ridiculous, right?
Yeah, Dale Hollow was not a good tournament for me either. My guy had stuck me in about 70, 80 foot of water, and he was surfing with his forward-facing sonar, but I mean, I did not even know how to react. And day 1, my boater had blew his motor, and they asked him to still fish because his trolling motor worked. I think that's what you had mentioned. And so he did. And so we trolling motored the first day. And this was at regional. So I wasn't very happy. But, I just had some bad luck draws on regionals and all that.
Yeah.
I could make it local and do it during our local tournaments. But when we go to our regionals, it makes it a little tougher. And so I just got to learn to be able to play that game.
Yeah. Yeah, just short end of the straw. Maybe get the good end of the straw on a lotto ticket. It's like like $1 billion last week. I bought 2 tickets. Didn't win. Yeah, James. I agree with you. Now let's turn the tables around. If MLF would have said no scoping in the BFLs, how many boaters do you think okay, I'm going to poll everybody. How many boaters do you think we'd have in the Illini, Ozarks, or Kentucky division here? I think that would cut out some people too. Probably it wouldn't cut out as many people in the Illini division, but there's been a fair amount of turnover in the last 3 or 4 years with younger and older guys. I guess, maybe I've been doing it for 5 years, but it seemed noticeable the last couple of years of turnover. More than a few years before that.
And another question would be, Okay, so I fishing the wild card used to back in the day, like it was for the people who didn't qualify in the top 50, and nobody wanted to fish the wild card because it wasn't as fun. I mean, we had 300 people that would fish in the regionals. How does somebody make it to the regionals then can catch over 40 to 50 pounds in the tournament? And I'm not saying anything bad, but they also gave us that didn't make it in the regional the chance to fish the wild card this year. So I really kind of think that they need to not do that next year, because I think they're still only taking they're taking the top 45 next year. So don't give those people that go to the regionals that second chance to go to the wild card, because that's just not fair. I did.
Yeah, if it's going to take away spots from other people, or they're just like, hey, we're in business. If you want to pay, you can play.
Right. Yeah.
Brad's asking a question here.
No, because when I Carolina rig, everybody throws a brush hog.
Yeah, brush hogs. Yeah, one of the number one baits.
Yeah.
A lot of people I found now too throw big old worms on the Carolina rig as well. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I just saw it a couple of years ago, and then I look it up, and people have been doing it forever. Or French fry rigs. The guy won the first Ozarks opener in 38-degree water on a little French fry old split shot. Kind of the original lightweight Carolina rig. That's what it is, right?
I will throw a French fry whenever I go to Paducah, just FYI.
Oh, yeah. Ned rigs, yeah.
No Ned rig. I don't throw a bait caster. At it. I had a guy once call me Rainbow because
Well, I throw a Ned rig on a spinning rod myself.
I can't throw a spinning rod. That's what they call me. That's why they call me Rainbow.
Because of a bait caster?
Yeah, I only throw bait casters.
Why does that make you Rainbow? I don't get it.
Well, because when I was throwing, it would go up, down.
Oh, with the spinning rod, it would be. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I could never get the hang of it, but I don't know. Never used one.
Okay, is there an inside joke with a blind minnow, huh? Does a blind minnow catch a fish in the dark? I never heard of a blind minnow.
What is a blind minnow?
Yeah. Robert, you'll have to explain there. Okay, she already gave up the goods there. No secret about that. The old brush hog.
Baby brush hog most of the time. I mean, baby or big.
Yeah, it's no secret of mine. So I think I just saw at the end of the year, Zoom changed it. They used to have the regular size brush hog, which is kind of big. They had the baby size brush hog, which sometimes was a little small. And I found Strike King had a game hog, which was like in between. And I just love those because no one was throwing them. But I think Zoom now has a medium brush hog.
Seen those.
Yeah. So then now they got that tweener size.
They also have a brush crawl. So it actually has the pinchers on the end instead of the tail.
Oh, you know what? I saw that in someone's boat this year. I meant to look it up. I saw that in two people's boat, and I'm like, is that a custom bait or something new I haven't seen before? And that's exactly what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we kind of found when we were at Pickwick. We felt like they were kind of eating bluegill because of the blue and the red flecks in it. And so I happened to look in my bag, and I actually found a blue and red fleck baby brush hog crawl. So I did tie it on, but it didn't work too well.
Yeah, how's the water visibility down there? The water was that cool. It must have cleaned up a bunch, huh?
No, it was actually, it wasn't like clear, but when those blue cat channels came in, they looked like sharks.
Yeah, I bet.
So pretty. There was more boaters before scoping came along, and there was also more co-anglers. Statistically, if you look at it, there was over 300 at one time. The split ring helps it move more freely. I'll have to look that up. I appreciate that.
Yeah, if you made some of those pre-made Carolina rigs, they basically have the, kind of swivel or standing. And then I've seen where people put that split ring more like by the hook. So not only can the bait go up and down like this, it allows it a little more kind of wacky action. I think that's what Brad means by that.
I think I get hung up on my Carolina rig so much that I can rebait one in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah. You don't tie them ahead of time and have them ready to go?
No, I do it. I can tie that fast.
Yeah, wow. I have to get some lessons.
Big head minnow without using the scope. A blind
minnow. A blind minnow. Okay, a blind minnow.
Okay.
Yeah, can catch a squirrel once a day too, right? Yeah, okay. I actually, my brother-in-law, he was used to fishing up in Green Lake in Wisconsin, a lot of that stuff. That was his go-to bait, and I started throwing that years ago, and it can kill him. But you need to be by, shallow or by some structure. I mean, I guess if you have suspended fish, if we're asking about that suspended fish earlier, bridge pilings, yeah, you can kind of count them down if you know what your weight and your line and your drop size is and that. But oh yeah. Mm-hmm. God, in the old days before scoping got popular, the little Berkeley power bait pre-rigged little minnows, man, I used to crush them on those. You know what I'm talking about? Little power bait guys. Yeah.
We used to always use those worms with the little spinner in the front of it that had the pre-rig of the long the fishing line on it.
Oh yeah, walleye kind of rig is what they're famous for, right?
Yeah. So my mom and dad used to own a fishing club in our hometown too, and every Father's Day we would have a kids fishing tournament on our little tiny pond that we have out here. And I used to fish that, and they had it for years. And then my daughter was like the president of the high school fishing club when she had it, and they were going to pass it off to her. But like, it's been a big family thing. So like our whole family just fishes.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome here. So you still on the high school tours or anything here? Done any of that recently this year? I know Pat is a coach at high school. He talked about that on the show.
I had heard that they were going to try to call me because they had a couple of girls on the Charleston high school team that they wanted to have all girl teams. So they were going to see if I'd be interested in hopping in a boat with them. But I mean, I never got the phone call, but that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure if you want to do it, you can call them.
Oh, yeah. It's always more fun to be asked, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We got any last questions here other than kind of plans? I'll throw something in there. I've been thinking about it a lot here, and we were talking earlier. I really want to do the Toyotas, but they're all on Wednesday this year, and it's like Lake Dardanelle, at least in the plains in the middle of June, and the schedule just didn't look good on some other things. And I'm like, oh man, Toyota Centrals to be so cool, but they're just so far away. Basically, when I looked at my channel, my channel is based on coangling, and a lot of people are like, well, you should go boater. But I'm like, yeah, that's kind of my channel angle here. And, I think, Tin Horse is going to be boater probably in Kentucky Lake. So I think I'm going to co-angle in the Illini division again. I think I'm going to do the Ozarks, even with a January 31st tournament on Table Rock and February 20-something on Lake of Ozarks. I said I wouldn't do it again, but if I want to fish that division, their regionals at Grand Lake. I really wanted to go to Grand Lake. I don't know if some of you guys heard me. Oh my God, I almost lucked out. 2 Wednesdays ago, my wife's like, I'm doing dishes, and she's like, hey, your phone's ringing. It's some Alan White guy from MLF. I'm like, why is he calling me? Pick up the phone. Hey, Al, this is Jeff. Hey, I know you're only a few hours away in St. Louis. We're down here at the Toyota's Championship on Grand Lake, and we've had a co-angler dial out. Can you be here at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning? You're number 2 in line. And I'm like, I didn't even have my real gear here in St. Louis, but I'm like, I'll throw something together and come down. But I called back and the spot was already full. But man, that was a chance of a lifetime here, just out of a fluke here. But I wanted to go fish Grand Lake. I only fished 2 Ozarks this year. If I would have fished another one and caught a fish, I probably would have made it. I haven't been down there, so that's kind of why I wanted to do that one. And the schedule just lines up pretty good. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I haven't done some USA Bassins in a while, so I think I might do that. And some other people asked about a couple of team derbies I might jump into. And then for road trips, we discussed this kind of at regionals. A couple of us guys have been talking about, oh man, we got to go do the lacrosse thing. So I looked at the lacrosse schedule. I think there's one in April, in May, maybe the May one. And then I might go out to Tennessee. My wife and I are looking at places out in Tennessee. We've been out in Tellico, Smoky Mountain area. It's so beautiful out there, and it's income tax free for retirees. So I'm actually a kind of a Swedish hillbilly. My mom was from Memphis, and my dad was Swedish. So I got some of that blood in me. So I'm thinking about hitting a couple of those. I was really thinking about maybe Gunnersville again. I don't know. But putting a schedule together, that's what I was kind of thinking. And Amanda, we bounce it around a little bit here. If you do, the MLS, I think you fish a Illini division. Well, I know you fish a Illini division, but do you ever do any road trips or fish any others, or you just do other things around here, any other circuits?
I've done the Toyota. I did the Hoosier division. And then the Illini, we do the USA Basin. We have just our local, like at the Mattoon Lake and everything, but may do the ITT for next year with my husband if I get him talked into it.
Well, yeah, no scoping. Yeah, that'd be a good thing. There's some cameras on that too.
Yeah. So I heard somebody once make a comment, forget that non-forward facing sonar, but and I was like, don't be like that. Do something different, let's stop being anti and let's just do different things,
Right.
To not have it gives us a chance to go fish like we used to. And so go back to it a little bit once in a while. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and I wanted to do some more travel lake series here, and I was, kind of so busy with other stuff. I got down to Lake Sarah this time for the first time. That was quite unique. I was really surprised at oh my God, the money down there in the houses. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes, and the slot limit on Lake Sarah keeps those fish so healthy. I mean, they're so fun. And that's where my dad and I fish USA Basin, and then I do USA Basin at Shelbyville with my husband, but I don't know that I'm going to do it again next year because of the forward-facing sonar. But Lake Sarah is one of my favorite places to fish here.
Yeah, I found a little grass. I just got a little guy down there. I found some cover down by the dam, and then it's like a mini Lake of Ozarks. It's docks, right? I guess, right?
I mean, there's docks, there's grass, there's rocks. I mean, you have everything there, and it's like I said, the slot limit really helps that fishery there. So
yeah, it kind of sounded like the first tournament of the year it took 25 pounds to win, and the second tournament of the year it was like 9 or something like that, right?
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Just crazy.
Yeah. All righty. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your experiences and your wild card feedback and having an entertaining conversation. Been wanting to have you on for a while, so thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for asking me. I appreciate it. I'm not very good at this kind of stuff.
Well, you get good, you got to just go do it, right? And I have such a little bitty channel. It's a practice and warm up for the big time.
Well, hopefully you had some listeners and we had fun, and I appreciate you asking me. So at the end of the day, let's just go fishing.
Yeah, I like that. Let's just go fishing.
That's right.
I like that. You should have that on your shirt.
I have it hanging up over by my station.
And it says let's go fishing or gone fishing. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. All righty. Well, thanks to everyone. And I don't know when the next live stream will be here. We're kind of winding down into the holidays here, and we'll get things kicked up soon. Or if anyone's got any ideas for a guest and a topic, shoot me a line and let me know. And until then, keep your lines tight. Good night, everybody.